Greetings and salutations. This is Jason Silverain, and I'm continuing Slay the Princess. Now we've just started chapter 2. We're going down the prisoner ending, as far as I know. I can't remember what the specific name for this particular route was, but it was the one that really captured me in the demo, and I really wanted to see how it would progress. Okay. I like that response. Okay. I think
It hasn't. Or if it has, I certainly haven't been a part of it. We've just met for the first time, you and I. Don't forget what he did to us the last time around. I wouldn't trust a word out of his mouth. There's got to be a way out of here, for us and for the princess. We just have to keep trying. I'm inclined to agree. If he doesn't remember what happened last time, maybe it's best to keep it that way. You know I can hear you two, right? It's going to be a lot harder than you think to keep secrets from me. And as far as trying to help her goes, need I remind you how catastrophically dangerous she is to the world at large? I told you about the stakes of this situation less than a minute ago.
also, it's kind of interesting that he just goes, hey, she's really dangerous, but he doesn't seem to be surprised that we decided to help her straight away.
Those are two very different questions, but fine, I'll indulge you if that's what it takes to get you moving. Let's say for a moment that this really is the second time you've met me, or at least a version of me. If you're back here, I'm assuming you died, which probably only happened because you didn't listen to me. The absolute irony. Well, that's one way to put it, I guess. You really don't remember what happened last time, do you? You practically forced the princess to kill us. That doesn't sound like the sort of thing I'd do, which is honestly all the more reason for you to not buy into whatever self-delusions the three of you are crafting.
Yeah, completely ignores anything we're saying to him.
But this is a thought experiment, so I suppose I'll continue to give you the benefit of the doubt. If I did practically force the princess to kill you, it was probably for a good reason. Did you try and free her? Did you say something really mean to me? Because if I really did what you said I did, you probably deserved it. I'm a professional, after all.
Oh, there's a narcissist prayer right there. I didn't do it. Oh, I didn't mean to do it. And if I did do it, you deserved it.
Sure you are. Anyway, I believe your second question was, what's the point of doing anything? If you're asking that, it sounds to me like you're making the rather dangerous assumption that your actions last time around didn't have any consequences. What do you mean? Of course there weren't any consequences. You forced the princess to kill us and now everyone's right back where they started. That sounds pretty consequence-free to me.
And it just hit it right on the nose there.
Yes, but in this purely hypothetical scenario, that begs the question of how you got back here. Did time simply rewind itself, or were you instead transported to a different world entirely? If it's the latter, what do you think happened after you died? Do you think the people there lived happily ever after? Or do you think that the princess, left unhindered, brought about the end to everyone and everything, just like I told you she would?
Neither really.
What a conveniently ambiguous group of things for her to ruin. For all we know, the princess left the cabin and never saw another soul.
I like the voice of the skeptic.
Oh, how I wish that were the case, but if the princess weren't a certain, inevitable threat to the world, the four of us wouldn't be here. And yet, here we are. You're talking in circles. No, I'm talking in facts.
No, talking in circles. Now, there is something we can do here that would absolutely mess things up. So I'm going to do 2 saves here. There we go. Now, we could try and walk away and go, not doing this whatsoever. That would actually change us and put us down a different ending. But we'll talk about
Just
this
be quick
princess.
about it.
Who locked her in? Oh, this was not a thing.
People locked her in that basement, and I told you what this place is. It's a path in the woods. Don't overcomplicate things.
Not overcomplicate things. If people locked her away, why could they slay her? Why is this falling on me?
Look, I'm not supposed to say this, but it's because you're special.
I never trust anyone who says
You're the
that.
only person capable of doing this. Call it a prophecy, if that helps. But it's just the way things are. Oh, I didn't know we were special. Of course you're special. Why else would you be here?
Voice of the hero. I know he's got the whole chosen one vibe. I know he'd fall for that nonsense.
Yes, right. We're here because we're special.
And there's the voice of reason.
Look, you're annoyed that you're here. I get it. I'm also annoyed that I'm here. But we're all in this together, and we're dealing with a bit of a ticking clock right now, so please just get to the cabin.
See, what... It says we're a ticking clock, but the thing is, there's no indication she was going to get loose without our intervention.
I've told you everything you need to know. Going into more detail would just overcomplicate an otherwise very simple situation and make your job more difficult.
By essentially making us have a conscience, perhaps?
Not to sound like a broken record, but the less you know about her, the better things will go for all of us. I know it sounds like I'm hiding something, but you're just going to have to trust me here.
Now, it could be one of those demons that... I mean, yeah, a demon that is essentially influenced by your mind, so knowing less about her and makes it easier to kill her. Ooh.
She just can. Believe me, I wish I could tell you more, but you'll just have to trust that what I'm saying is true, and that, despite it all, you're fully up to the task that's been given to you. You haven't given us an ounce of proof. You do know that, right? What proof could you possibly ask for? Literally anything. Fine. Check your pockets.
Oh.
You put your hands in
The
your
evidence. Look how...
envelope with the words "The Evidence" written across the front. Within, you find a note in your handwriting. It reads, "The princess will end the world if you don't stop her. This is an immutable truth."
Like, my handwriting... Why is my handwriting so bad? Why do I have such hooked
That
claws?
doesn't prove anything. How do we know you didn't just forge our handwriting? I wish I could tell you more, but there are some rules I have to follow for all our sakes. Please just trust that these rules are in place for a reason. I'm on your side. You mean you're on our side as long as we do what you tell us to? Exactly. Because you not doing what I tell you to do means you're putting the world at risk. I think we've got everything out of him we're gonna get. Great. Now, if you don't mind, the whole world is waiting with bated breath for you to save it from ruin.
I'm very tempted to ask him what our
warning
name is.
before you go any further. She will lie, she will cheat, and she will do everything in her power to stop you from slaying her.
Like any other person.
Don't believe a word she says. Yes, don't believe a word she says. Just go in, take the knife, and do what you're supposed to. Wink. Did you just say wink out loud? No, I didn't. Wink. Just ignore this clown and focus on the princess.
Wink. Yeah.
The interior of the cabin is less a cozy woodland retreat and more like a dungeon. A few pathetic wisps of starlight attempt to illuminate the cold, uninviting stone walls, and thick, wrought iron bars barricade the windows, reminding anyone who enters that this is a prison.
Though it's very interesting the inside of the cabin changes and not the exterior. It's always a cabin, even though here it's clearly a stone prison.
The only furniture of note is an iron table, bolted to the floor, a pristine blade perched on its edge.
Bolted to the floor because it's also essentially imprisoned.
The blade is your implement. You'll need it if you want to do this right.
Okay.
Very different.
Whole different cabin than from before.
Yes, but why? Did he change it? Or did it change all on its own? Maybe it's a different cabin entirely. Now isn't that a novel thought? Maybe you haven't actually been here before. I hope this means you'll finally drop your ridiculous past life nonsense. You haven't died. You certainly haven't been killed by the princess. So focus up. Don't get distracted by minor details.
Okay.
He definitely did not. Does a mirror not count as furniture of note to you? Because it should.
Yes, he did not say anything about this mirror. Why didn't you mention
There
it?
isn't a mirror. There's a table, the blade sitting on the table, and the door to the basement. There's nothing else in here. There's definitely a mirror. There isn't. I think you know what we have to do.
Why would you
Exactly.
like that?
Why would I lie about something so meaningless? What good would a mirror even do? Let you waste time preening yourself instead of doing what needs to be done. You walk up to the wall next to the basement door. It's a wall. There isn't much to see here. This really isn't funny. You reach forward and rub your hand against the cabin wall. I hope you know how ridiculous you look right now. But it was there a second ago, and now it's gone. If he doesn't want us to know about it, it must be important. We should keep our eyes peeled. Maybe it'll be back.
Reflection of oneself, self-awareness. Okay, let's take the blade.
You take the blade from the table. It will be difficult to slay the princess and save the world without a weapon.
Not to mention, tools are always useful.
Good idea. Much better to be armed than to go in with blind hope alone. The door to the basement creaks open, revealing an old stone staircase. A few sputtering torches attempt to vaguely illuminate your path, dancing across glimmering patches of slimy moss on the stone steps. If the princess lives here, slaying her would probably be doing her a favour.
And here's the classic one. If no one's been here, who lit the torches?
Her voice, harsh but controlled, carries up the stairs.
Is that a visitor I hear? Please, come downstairs. It's been a while since I've had company.
Does she remember us? You walk down the stairs and lock eyes with the princess. She looks up at you, the heavy collar around her neck clanking loudly as she moves. The chains binding both her wrists to the far wall, joining the metallic chorus.
Far
She
less
adjusts her hands in her lap.
Far less movement this time. Also, note the completely this chain has no purpose here. Purposeless. There we go. Unless it's for another prisoner.
So much for cutting her out of here. Do you hear yourself right now? Cutting her out of here never should have been on the table. Have you noticed the empty chain on the wall? Odd that in a place where everything seems to serve a distinct purpose, there would be something so obviously useless. That was there last time too, wasn't it?
Basically, there's two prisoners here, not just one.
It was.
What an interesting development. Why don't you have a seat? The two of us should chat before you bury that thing in my heart.
Not sure I need to do much of anything. And this is where it ended last time. Though I got a different sentence because, well, I didn't come down with the knife. But yeah, I'm not sure I need to do much of anything. Do you see how looked up she is? I'm just going to leave her here, leave her in the basement. No, I'm going to go sit with her.
You step towards the princess, but she stops you before you get too close, holding up one shackled hand.
There's fine. I'd prefer we keep some distance until we've sorted this out.
Well, she probably remembers I almost tried to stab her. Also, check her right hand. Yes, it's her left hand. Her left or our right. That shackle doesn't go all the way round. That hand's already free.
That's reasonable. We do have a weapon. Might as well put her at ease. You do as she asks and sit on the floor, still a good distance away from her.
Now that could have just been a drawing error, but
Thank you. Now, what are your intentions for me?
she doesn't seem to remember us this time. Unlike the demo. what do we...
Oh, are we acknowledging that? I thought we weren't going to give away the game. But yeah, I remember.
Okay. Oh, damn.
I guess what you said back in the woods really was true. As much as I would like to remain in denial, it's no use. This has complicated things. It's complicated things how?
So
Exactly.
maybe I've given away the game of it too. Here's my hand, I just show it to you. Bad poker play here.
Ideally, this was supposed to be one and done. You go to the cabin, you heroically slay the princess, and in the process you save the entire world from being damned to oblivion. The situation right now, where you're getting a second shot at things, is a contingency. A contingency for what? For you failing, obviously. And you being here means that things are going to be a lot harder than they were. I really shouldn't say anything else, I'm just going to make it worse. Just... good luck. Now hold on, if you knew this could happen, why didn't you believe us back in the woods? Why lay out all those hypotheticals? We didn't have to talk in circles. I needed you to believe this was your first time here, even if that wasn't the truth. I hoped if I pushed back hard enough I could cram this seeping mess back into the bottle. And maybe I wanted to be the first version of me that you met. I didn't want to be confronted by the alternative. That's pathetic.
Yes. Also...
I never said I wasn't.
Okay.
Get it? It would be pretty upsetting, wouldn't it? To know that you might not be the first version of yourself. At least we can remember what happened before. Seems like we should count ourselves lucky for that. Exactly, he gets it. You're lucky. So don't waste that luck by messing it up again. Alright? Moving on. Why is it important for us to be ignorant? How is it ever helpful to be in the dark? The more I say, the more your mind will swim into dangerous waters. Even saying that is too much.
There we go. The more... she's literally been altered by our perceptions of us.
Your success hinges on you having imperfect information. For the sake of the entire world, you need to accept that.
This is a horror game, so maybe the closer we are to knowing her, what she is truly makes her more dangerous. And if we were to know her true source, she ends the world. She's basically an eldritch abomination, but at the moment, she's not, because we've just been told she's a princess, therefore she's a princess. This is probably how the game's going to pan out, but I'm going to love the journey to it.
I won't. Fine, but you won't get another word from me on the matter. Yeah, sure. We'll see about that. Just give it a rest, this isn't helping.
Focus. This is a serious situation. You shouldn't be daydreaming.
Oh, can she not hear them?
Yes, your intentions. You have a knife. What are you going to do with it? Why are you here? There isn't a keyhole in these shackles, and I don't see any keys in your hands either. So I'm afraid my only way out is another surgical removal.
Is she forgetting about the shackle on her neck? Or does she think she'd survive a beheading? You're right. Maybe she's delusional. All the more reason not to trust her.
Oh, don't make me hack off her head.
Unless she really could survive.
And this is the thing, if we think she can survive it, she will.
Though I suppose you could just be here to kill me. But I don't think that's in either of our best interests.
Okay.
Nothing happened. You died. I went upstairs. I couldn't leave. I found myself in a new place in chains again. More of them. And now you're back.
Is that really all she knows? It's not like we have much of a clue about how things work. And she's probably even more in the dark than we are.
So, I wasn't expecting that as the answer. I mean, it's logical, but...
You're looking at me like I might be hiding something. I'm not.
I guess it's possible she really doesn't know anything. Maybe both of us are stuck in this loop without any idea why or how.
Yeah.
I don't know, but you could always try it on. Maybe it'll fit.
I hope I don't actually have to say this, but please don't lock yourself in chains. We need you ambulatory if you're going to save the world.
Oh, it's so tempting. It is so tempting. So I'm going to save. If that's an option, we'll explore it in the next episode.